I'm making this video for anyone who professes a belief in God. We've now got 45,000 denominations, and Paul warned us there should be no divisions. And the reason we've got all these divisions is because of this massive pagan celebration that's taking place next week. And we were warned. Jehovah, which is the Father's real name, if you would care to do a little check in your Strong's Concordance, when you see in the Old Testament his name capitalized, you'll find that it's actually pronounced Jehovah. So this pagan celebration, Jehovah calls it idolatry. And idolatry is the sin that leads to death. I'm going to start in 1 John 5. I'm just going to go from verse 16. If any man see his brother sin a sin which is not unto death, he shall ask, and he shall give him life for them that sin not unto death. There is a sin unto death, and I do not say that he shall pray for it. He's serious here. All unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death. Unrighteousness is the opposite of righteousness. I'm just going to read I'll flick over here. Deuteronomy 6 verse 25, and it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Jehovah our God as he hath commanded us. And Deuteronomy 6 comes after Deuteronomy 5, where he lists the 10 commandments. The second one being, do not make any idols. So all unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death. We know that whosoever is born of God sinneth not, but he that is begotten of God keepeth himself, and that wicked one touches him not. And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. And we know that the Son of God is come, and hath given us an understanding, that we may know him that is true. And we are in him that is true, even in his Son, Yeshua, Messiah. Again, a quick Strong's Concordance check, and you'll find that his actual name is Yeshua. This is the true God and eternal life. Little children, keep yourself from idols. So John's telling us in 1 John that the sin that leads to death is idolatry. So if you're taking part and you're a believer, you're signing your own death warrant. Let's go and find out what happened to Israel. I'm going to 2 Kings 17, and I'll just go from verse 1. In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Jehovah, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. This is Jehovah's punishment. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria. This is the scattering of the northern 10 tribes, and placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against Jehovah their God, which had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom Jehovah cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against Jehovah their God. And they built them high places, places of worship, in all their cities, from the tower of the watchmen to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves, trees, in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom Jehovah carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke Jehovah to anger. For they served idols. So putting up a tree, Jehovah calls it an idol, whereof Jehovah had said unto them, You shall not do this thing. Yet Jehovah testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened in their necks, like to the neck of their fathers, that did not believe in Jehovah their God. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies, which he testified against them. And they followed vanity, and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom Jehovah had charged them that they should not do like them. So we really need to find out, what was it the heathen were doing? So we're going to Jeremiah 10. First 5 verses. Hear ye the word which Jehovah speaks unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith Jehovah, Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. The winter solstice, the spring equinox, Christmas, Easter. For the customs of the people are vain, vanity. For one cuts a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe. They deck it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good. If you track back what the actual tree symbolizes, it's all the way back to Babylon, and it's Nimrod's penis. That's what it symbolizes. And the excuses that you hear are just ridiculous. You know, like, I use an artificial tree. It's just the same thing. Just because you don't actually cut it out of the forest and you go to a store and buy one, or you buy an artificial one because you don't want pine needles on your carpet, you're still doing the same thing. It's still idolatry. It's what it represents. It doesn't matter whether it was called an Ashtaroth bull, a Christmas tree. The name, the actual label that's put on it is insignificant. And the other one is that we're not under the law anymore. Well, you're right. We're not under sacrificial law anymore. But he came to refresh the commandments. The word commandments is in Scripture over 200 times. You'd think there'd be some level of importance. I'll give you some examples. Whosoever therefore, this is Matthew 5:19, whosoever therefore shall break one of the least commandments and shall teach men so, idolatry, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. That doesn't mean you get to shine shoes. That means you're not in. But whosoever shall do them and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 15:9, but in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men, instead of the commandments of God. Matthew 19:17, and he said unto him, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is, God. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. Interesting side note, there is none good but one. The Messiah is separating himself from God. He isn't God, he is the Son of God. There is only one that's good, and that is God. Matthew 22:40, on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets, loving God with all your heart, soul, mind, which is again defined in Deuteronomy 6, and loving your neighbour as yourself, which is Leviticus 19:15 through 18, which is to rebuke sin out of your neighbour rather than stoning them to death under sacrificial law. The Messiah paid the price for sacrificial law, and his blood dripped down onto the mercy seat. If you've never watched Ron Wyatt's Discoveries, go check them out. It's an eye-opener. Again, another warning in Mark 7:7, howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Mark 10:19, thou knowest the commandments. Do not commit adultery, do not kill, do not steal, do not bear false witness, defraud not, honour thy father and mother. It's the 10 commandments. Mark 12:29, and Yeshua answered him, the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. So it's actually loving God. And sticking to the New Testament here, I'm just going to skip forward to 1 John. And hereby we do know that we know him, if we keep his commandments. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. 1 John 3:22, and whatsoever we ask we receive of him, because we keep his commandments, and do those things that are pleasing in his sight. Why wouldn't you want to do the things that are pleasing in God's sight? And he that keepeth his commandments dwelleth in him, and he in him. And hereby we know that he abideth in us by the Spirit which he hath given us. John 14:15. If you love me, keep my commandments. I will pray to the Father, and he'll send you the second Comforter, the Spirit of truth. Grace is given to all men, Titus 2. You only get the Spirit of truth, which leads you into all truth, through the keeping of the commandments. And of course, eating clean, the two covenants of promise spoken about in Ephesians 2. By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and keep his commandments. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as you have heard from the beginning, you should walk in it. That was 2 John 1:6. Aye. And I'll just go to Revelation 22:14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates of the city. So it's a prerequisite. You're not getting in if you're not keeping the commandments. It's as simple as that. And I'm going to finish with Proverbs. Proverbs 28, verse 9. Excuse me while I get there. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination. Idolatry is the sin that leads to death. If you're participating in next week's pagan festival, you've signed your own death warrant.